We've all made mistakes, right? Little ones, big ones. But what if I told you that one super common mistake, one that people make every single night, could come with a price tag you literally can't even imagine? Today, we're talking about how getting behind the wheel after just a couple of drinks can become an absolute financial catastrophe. Let's get into it. So, let me just ask you this straight up. How much does it cost to have 2 beers? 10 bucks? Maybe 20 if you're somewhere nice? Well, what if I told you that's not even close? For this one guy we're going to talk about, Chris, those 2 beers ended up costing him over $15,000. No, that's not a typo. $15,000. So how in the world does a casual Friday night drink turn into a 5-figure disaster? All right, so let's meet Chris. His story is, man, it's such a powerful example of how a totally normal, everyday situation can just take a sharp and incredibly expensive turn for the worse. So picture this. Chris is 24 years old. He's just landed his first real job out of school, and he's out celebrating with some colleagues. It's a Friday night. He's trying to be responsible. He has what he calls just 2 light beers, and that's over a couple of hours. Plus, his drive home is literally 10 minutes. I mean, come on, how many of us have been in that exact same situation? It feels completely harmless. But that 10-minute drive home, for Chris, that becomes the point of no return. This is the moment where a small mistake just snowballs, and you won't believe how fast it all happens. It all kicks off with something super minor. He kind of rolls through a stop sign, a cop sees him, pulls him over, smells a little alcohol, and asks him to step out of the car for a field sobriety test. He fails it, and before he can even really register what's going on, Chris is in handcuffs, he's being put in the back of a police car, and he's on his way to spend the night in jail, just like that. And here's the kicker. The second those handcuffs click shut, this invisible financial clock starts ticking. The costs start piling up right away, way before he ever steps foot in a courtroom. So let's break down that initial hit, because these are the costs that just completely blindside you in those first 24 hours. The very first bill comes before he's even out of that jail cell. See, his car didn't just stay parked on the side of the road. Nope, it got towed to an impound lot. And to get it back, he has to pay towing fees and daily storage fees. That meter starts running immediately. But the biggest, most shocking upfront cost, the one that really hits you in the gut, it's the lawyer. Look, you can't mess around with this. You need a lawyer who specializes in DUIs. And their minimum fee, just to get started, the retainer, it's often $5,000 or more. And that's money you have to come up with, like, right now. Okay, so he's managed to hire a lawyer. Now, Chris has to face the courtroom. And here, he's got a really, really difficult choice to make. He's basically got two paths. On one hand, he can take a plea bargain. It's a quicker process, sure, but it means he's accepting guaranteed penalties. On the other hand, he can fight the charge and go to trial. But that path means his legal costs go through the roof and he's taking a huge risk. If he loses, the sentence could be even harsher. So, what do? There's really no good option. So let's just say he takes the plea deal. The consequences are still pretty severe. He's looking at huge fines from the court. Bam. A mandatory suspension of his driver's license so he can't drive for a while. Bam. And he'll be required to enroll in and pay for a special DUI education program, sometimes called DUI school. It just keeps adding up. But here's the thing so many people don't get. It doesn't end when the court case is over. In a lot of ways, that's just the beginning. Now comes the aftershock, the long-term fallout that sticks with you for years. So once his license is finally reinstated, he gets branded a high-risk driver. This means he's forced to get something called SR22 insurance. You can think of it like a scarlet letter for your driving record. It's basically a special certificate you have to file with the state just to prove you have car insurance. And this chart, wow, this shows you the financial pain of that SR22 perfectly. Your normal car insurance premium is down here. And then with the SR22, bam, it just explodes. We're talking 3 to 4 times higher than what you were paying before. And this isn't a one-time fee. This is an inflated cost you pay every single month for years. And on top of all the direct costs, just when you think it can't get any worse, there's your job. Depending on your profession or your company's policy, a DUI conviction can absolutely be grounds for getting fired. Just imagine losing your income right when you're facing thousands and thousands of dollars in new expenses. It's just devastating. So when you add it all up, the towing, the 5 grand lawyer, the court fines, the DUI school, and then years of those sky-high insurance premiums, the grand total easily blows past $15,000. The source material we used for this explainer put it perfectly. A DUI is an economic disaster. For a lot of young people just starting their careers, like Chris, the price of just one drink can literally be an entire year's salary. Let that sink in for a minute. A whole year's salary. Which brings us right back to the beginning. Looking at all these costs, the financial ones, the personal ones, you have to ask yourself a pretty simple question. Was that 10-minute drive home really worth it?